That's one I made for my granddaughter. She wanted something made with her little pieces from her growing up dresses. And I told her, I said, some of these pieces don't belong in here, but I'm going to make a circle, and you can see. So the whole quilt is going to have, some of them, the pieces are going to be changed. So the oranges and browns don't, no, they don't go in there.
Okay. And then next to that is another pillow.
It's an 8-pointed star called a Moines star because the points are divided.
And then the next one, the windmill, is a very special pattern for you.
Yes, it is. I made 12 of those, all with different scenes, some with the sun coming up over the mountain. And I had drawings for those, and I sold some. Sold some for $100 a piece. That was sold to Joe Clement, who won the little baby quilt. And he kept that on his office wall for many years until he retired. But we made an awful lot of money off of those 12.
Really good. And what a pleasant, bright design.
Yes.
It's lovely, Carrie.
Thank you.
And then the last one on that wall?
The last one is a copy of chain mail, the armor that knights used during the 12th to the 14th centuries. And it's circles and twining circles. During a Historical Society home tour several years ago, I think about 4 years ago, we went through the Belvedere, and I had never really been in that old building. It was built in 1903, and it's located a block east of the City County Library here in Claremore. It's an old building, a 3-story brick building that has round turrets that kind of gives you a castle-like idea of it. And when it was being built by the Bayless family, they're old, you know, this is an old family, and they were a banking family, you know, pretty wealthy. So they brought a man over from Italy to lay the tile. And this mosaic, I copied from the tile in the floor where 3 big hallways come together. This big area, this beautiful tile, and this is exactly the same size. But if you look at it, it looks like the cross-section of a fruit, maybe a tomato or something else.
Right.
Get it back at a distance. It's really interesting. And when I first saw it, I said to myself, that has to be a quilt. There's one requirement to making small stitches, well, more than one, but the first one is to use the thimble. This is a must. If you want to be a good quilter, you really must use the thimble. And then the second one is to use a small needle. I use a number 12, but if you're a beginner, maybe number 9 would be all right. And that's very small if you can see that needle. And then I push up from underneath with the middle finger of my left hand. Then I put the needle straight down as close to the last stitch as possible. When I barely touch my finger, I bring the needle right back up. Then I make I call it a cliff with my right thumb. And that allows the needle to come out more closely and make the small stitch. Then you rock it back and forth. When you touch your finger underneath, rock it back up. When you touch your thumb, rock it back down. And you see how tiny the stitches are. And that's the technique. My twin sister did not learn to quilt like I did at my grandmother's knee. She was always playing dolls under the quilt. And I was up helping my grandmother. And so she called me one day and said, Carrie, I want to learn to make small stitches like you, because I had sent her those pillows. And she said, Carrie, I can't get over those small stitches. So on the telephone, I taught her. I said, you go get an embroidery hook and 2 pieces of fabric and a piece of batting, and put this in the embroidery hook, pull it real tight, and then I taught her on the phone. That's amazing that you could teach someone how to sew on the telephone. I had to figure it out myself. I never had really realized what I was doing. This is how my grandmother taught me, and I just followed her instructions. I find that if I don't have the room or the time to sit at a quilting frame, and if I want to go to a meeting or somewhere, I put it in, I base the quilt very carefully. Then I take a small embroidery hook. I don't like the large ones because they're more cumbersome, and you can do a much better job with a small embroidery hook. And you want to pull it very tight. On the back side, you want it as tight as the front side. My grandmother said that a quilt should be tight enough that you can bounce a quarter on it. When it is on the frame, or in the embroidery hook? Or in the hook. You can throw a quarter on it and it will bounce. So those are some of the secrets of making small stitches.
And would one judge the quality of a quilt by the size of the stitches?
Yes, they must not only be small, but uniform. They don't have to be as tiny as mine. Most people have problems making those small stitches. However, the 12 people who came to my home yesterday, in 15 minutes, they were all making stitches as small as mine.
Super.
It's the technique. Now, one technique of making quick strip piecing is to use the presser foot or the outside edge of the feed dog.
And you can see right here is the feed dog.
And I use the outside edge of that and put my fabric right in contact with it so that